Veltar sat in the cold metal chair, his three arms shaking as he spoke to the Galactic Council. His purple skin had turned pale gray since the war ended. The other council members leaned forward to hear his quiet voice. "You want to know about the humans?" Veltar said, his large black eyes staring at nothing. "You want to know why 12 species ran away from one small planet? I will tell you, but you will not sleep well after." He took a deep breath through his gill slits. "We thought we were so smart. We watched them for 50 years. We saw their little wars with metal bullets and fire bombs. They could barely reach their own moon without half their rockets exploding. We laughed at them. The Kethmori High Command had been so sure." Veltar remembered the meeting in the great crystal halls of their home planet. Admiral Zektor had shown the pictures of human cities, small ugly buildings made of concrete and steel. Their biggest weapons were primitive missiles that moved slower than a child's toy ship. "Look at these creatures," the Admiral had said, pointing at images of humans. "No natural armor, no claws, no poison. They are soft and weak. Their ships are made of metal scraps welded together. We will take their planet in one day." Veltar had believed it. Every officer in the fleet had believed it. The humans had no energy shields, no plasma cannons, no faster-than-light weapons. Their most advanced ships were barely able to travel between planets in their own system. The Kethmori fleet could cross entire star systems in hours. "We brought 300 ships," Veltar continued, his voice getting quieter. "Battleships longer than human cities. Each one could destroy a planet. We had weapons that could melt mountains. We had shields that could stop any attack they could make." The first human they captured was named June. He was a communications officer on a small space station near their moon. When Veltar's team took the station, June did not beg or cry like most prisoners did. He just sat there, watching them with calm eyes. "He was not afraid," Veltar said, touching the scar on his neck. "That should have warned us, but we thought he was just stupid." June spoke perfect Kethmori language. This surprised them because humans were supposed to be too primitive to learn alien languages quickly. When they asked how he learned it, June smiled. "We have been listening to your radio signals for 20 years, he said. "We know everything about you." The Kethmori officers laughed. If humans knew everything, why were they still using such weak technology? Why were their ships still so slow and poorly armed? "We learn fast," June had said. "Faster than you think." Veltar remembered the first attack on Earth. The human planet looked beautiful from space. Blue oceans, white clouds, green land. It looked peaceful and helpless. The Kethmori fleet spread out in attack formation, 300 ships against one small world. "We sent a surrender message," Veltar said. "We always do this. Most species give up when they see our fleet." Humans sent back a message in perfect Kethmori language. The message was short. It came from someone named Bin, who called himself a human engineer. His voice was calm and polite. "Thank you for coming to our system," Bin had said. "We have been waiting for you. Please proceed with your attack. We are ready." Admiral Zektor had been confused. Ready for what? To die, to surrender? The humans had maybe 50 small warships in their entire system. The Kethmori fleet had 600 times more firepower. "Attack," the Admiral ordered. The first wave went exactly as planned. Kethmori plasma beams destroyed the human orbital stations. Their small defensive platforms exploded in bright flashes. Human ships tried to fight back, but their primitive missiles could not even reach the Kethmori vessels. "We thought it was over," Veltar said, his hands shaking harder now. "We thought we had won." Then the real attack began. It started with the civilian ships. Hundreds of them rose from Earth like angry insects. Cargo haulers, passenger ships, mining vessels, even pleasure craft. None of them had weapons that should have worried a Kethmori battleship. "They came at us too fast," Veltar whispered, "moving in ways that should have killed everyone inside. Turns that should have broken their ships apart. They did not care about their own safety." The first civilian ship to reach the fleet was a cargo hauler piloted by someone who called herself Sora. She flew her ship straight at the flagship, ignoring all the plasma fire around her. Her ship was hit dozens of times but kept coming. "She spoke to us as she flew," Veltar said, "in our own language. She was laughing." Sora's ship slammed into the flagship's shields. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the cargo ship exploded with the force of a small star. The flagship, the pride of the Kethmori fleet, broke in half and died in the cold of space. "Nuclear weapons," Veltar said. "Hundreds of them. Every civilian ship was full of nuclear bombs. They turned their own people into flying weapons." More ships came. A passenger liner full of nuclear explosives took out 2 destroyers. A mining ship, its cargo hold packed with bombs, rammed through a cruiser's shields and tore it open like paper. They were not trying to win a battle, Veltar said, his voice barely heard now. They were trying to kill us all, even if it killed them too. The worst part was their voices. As each human ship made its final attack run, the pilot would speak to the Kethmori fleet. Always calm, always polite, always in perfect alien languages. "Thank you for visiting our system," one pilot had said as his ship, full of bombs, crashed into a battleship. "We hope you enjoy your stay." Another pilot, a woman whose ship was already burning from plasma hits, had laughed as she aimed for the fleet's supply vessels. "Next time bring more ships," she said. "You will need them." In 30 minutes, the Kethmori lost 47 ships. Not to superior weapons or better technology. They lost them to humans who turned themselves into weapons. "We retreated," Veltar said, the shame clear in his voice. 300 ships ran away from flying bombs piloted by crazy humans. But that was just the beginning. Veltar looked up at the council members with his broken eyes. That was when we learned that humans do not fight wars. They fight for the complete destruction of their enemies. And they are very, very good at it. Veltar's voice grew quieter as he continued his testimony. The council members had stopped taking notes. They just stared at him with wide eyes. After the first attack failed, Admiral Zektor was angry, Veltar said. He called for more ships from the home worlds. The humans had surprised us, but they were still just one planet. We had 12 species in our alliance. We had thousands of worlds. The reinforcements came quickly. 500 more ships from across the galaxy. Each ship carried enough firepower to crack a planet's surface. The new fleet commander was Admiral Yextal, famous for conquering 43 star systems. "We will show these humans what real war looks like," Admiral Yextal had said. "No mercy. No prisoners. We will burn their world to ash." But the humans were not waiting quietly. While the Kethmori gathered their forces, something impossible was happening in the Sol system. "We watched them through our long-range sensors," Veltar said, rubbing his scarred face. "What we saw made no sense. The humans were building, not just ships or weapons, but entire factories in space. Massive structures that grew larger every day. They moved asteroids like children playing with toys. They built manufacturing plants inside dead moons. In 3 months, they built more industrial capacity than most worlds build in 50 years, Veltar whispered. "How do you fight an enemy that can rebuild faster than you can destroy?" The human in charge of this impossible construction was named Doc. He appeared on every communication channel, speaking to the Kethmori fleet in their own language. "Welcome back," Doc had said, his human face calm and smiling. "We have been busy while you were gone. Would you like to see what we built?" Admiral Yextal had laughed. "Show us your toys, human. We will break them all." "Gladly," Doc replied. The second battle began differently. This time the humans did not send civilian ships full of bombs. This time they sent proper warships, ships that looked nothing like the primitive vessels from before. "They were beautiful," Veltar said, and for a moment his voice held wonder instead of fear. Sleek and fast, covered in armor that gleamed like mirrors. But they were wrong. All wrong. The human ships moved like living things. They dodged plasma beams that should have hit them. They flew through asteroid fields at impossible speeds. Their weapons were not the primitive missiles from before. Energy beams that cut through our shields like they were not there, Veltar said. Missiles that thought for themselves, chasing our ships around planets and through gas clouds. Weapons we did not understand. The human commander was a woman named Hana. Her face appeared on every screen in the Kethmori fleet as the battle began. "You came to our home uninvited," Hana said. "You tried to kill our families. Now we will show you what happens to uninvited guests." Her voice was not angry or excited. She spoke like someone discussing the weather. "We studied your ships," Hana continued. "We studied your weapons. We studied you. We know how you think. We know how you fight. We know how you die. The human weapons were impossible. Plasma beams that curved around obstacles. Missiles that split into dozens of smaller missiles. Energy shields that absorbed enemy fire and sent it back twice as strong. How?" Admiral Yextal had screamed over the communication channels. "How do you have this technology? Your species was primitive 6 months ago." Hana had smiled. It was not a nice smile. "We learned," she said simply, "from the ships you left behind after your first attack. Thank you for the donations. That was when Veltar understood the truth. The humans had not just survived the first attack. They had captured damaged Kethmori ships. They had studied alien technology and improved it. In 6 months, they took weapons we spent centuries developing and made them better, Veltar said. But that was not the worst part. The worst part was what happened to captured Kethmori soldiers. They did not kill prisoners, Veltar said, his 3 arms wrapped around his body. They kept us alive. They fed us. They gave us medical care. And they asked questions. The human in charge of prisoners was named Wu. He was a scientist, not a soldier. He was polite and kind. He never hurt anyone. He just asked questions and listened to the answers. He wanted to know about our biology, Veltar said. How our bodies worked. What we ate. What made us sick. What scared us. At first, the prisoners thought Wu was just curious. Many species were interested in alien biology. But then the psychological warfare began. Sounds, Veltar said, shuddering. Sounds that made us afraid. Light patterns that hurt our eyes. Smells that made us sick. They learned what bothered each species and used it against us. The humans broadcast these sounds and lights and smells at Kethmori ships during battle. Soldiers who had fought bravely for decades suddenly could not think clearly. Warriors who had never retreated began making mistakes. They did not just fight our ships, Veltar said. They fought our minds, but the humans were not finished. While the space battle raged, they did something that broke every rule of civilized warfare. They destroyed their own colonies, Veltar whispered. Human settlements on Mars, Europa, and Titan were evacuated. But instead of leaving them empty, the humans filled them with traps. When Kethmori forces landed to claim these worlds, the colonies exploded. Not just bombs, Veltar said. Chemical weapons. Biological weapons, radiation. They poisoned entire worlds to deny them to us. Human named Nam had appeared on Kethmori communication channels as the colonies burned. Every world you take from us will cost you more than you can afford, Nam had said. We would rather see them dead than in your hands. This was not war, Veltar told the council. War has rules. War has honor. War has an end. This was something else. This was humans deciding that anything that threatened them had to die. The second battle ended when the humans revealed their final surprise, a weapon that Admiral Yextal called impossible. A ship killer, Veltar said. A beam of energy that could cut a battleship in half from 1,000,000 kilometers away. One shot, one dead ship. The human fleet had 50 of these weapons. In 10 minutes, they destroyed 50 Kethmori battleships. Admiral Yextal's last message was a question, Veltar said. He asked how humans could build such weapons so quickly. Hana answered him as his flagship died around him. We had good teachers, she said. Thank you for the lesson. The surviving Kethmori ships retreated again. This time they had lost 200 vessels. The humans had lost 12. But that was still not the worst part, Veltar said, his voice getting even quieter. The worst part was that we could see they were just getting started. The weapons they used to destroy us were already old to them. While we were fighting, they were building even worse things. Veltar looked at the council members with eyes full of despair. They fight like the universe itself is their enemy, and they are winning. Veltar stopped speaking for a long moment. His breathing was rapid and shallow. One of the council members offered him water, but he shook his head. The third attack, he finally said. That is when we learned that humans do not think like other species. They do not follow the rules that govern civilized beings. After losing hundreds of ships, the Kethmori alliance was angry. 3 more species joined the war effort. The Zelthari brought their bioweapons. The Mordek brought their reality-bending technology. The ancient Velthran came out of isolation with weapons that could unmake matter itself. We had everything, Veltar said. Every type of weapon known to galactic civilization. Surely the humans could not adapt to all of them. The attack began at the edge of the Sol system. 1,500 ships representing 7 different species. Each species fought in their own way, using their own special abilities. The humans could not possibly understand all of them. We were wrong, Veltar whispered. The human fleet that met them was different again. The ships looked crude, built hastily from scrap metal and salvaged parts. They should have been easy targets. But they were not fighting the same way, Veltar said. Each human ship was different. Each one was built to fight a specific species. Ships fighting the Zelthari had perfect biological shields. Ships fighting the Mordek had reality stabilizers. Ships fighting the Velthron had matter reconstruction fields. Impossible, Admiral Kexfor had said. How do they know our secret weapons? How do they have defenses we have never seen before? The answer came from a human named Maya. Her ship was small and ugly, welded together from parts of a dozen different alien vessels. But when she spoke, her voice was full of confidence. "We have been busy," Maya said. "Every ship you sent against us taught us something new. Every weapon you used showed us a new way to fight. Thank you for the education." The battle that followed was unlike anything in galactic history. The humans did not fight as one fleet, Veltar said. They fought as hundreds of individual ships, each one thinking for itself. When we destroyed one ship, the others learned from its death and adapted. A Zeldhari bioweapon that dissolved ship hulls was met by human vessels that grew their armor back faster than it could be destroyed. Mordek reality warpers found their attacks reflected by human mirrors that should not have existed. Felthran matter disruptors were absorbed by human shields that somehow got stronger when hit. Every advantage we had, they took away, Veltar said. Every weapon we used, they found a defense for. Every defense they had, they made into a weapon. The human named Wu appeared on Kethmori communication channels halfway through the battle. "We have a proposal," he said, his human face calm as explosions lit up the space around his ship. "Surrender now and we will let you leave. Continue fighting and we will board your ships." Admiral Kexvor had laughed. "Board our ships with what?" "Your primitive soldiers." "With these," Wu replied. Human attack craft began launching from the fleet. They were tiny, barely large enough for one person. They looked like metal coffins with engines attached. "Suicide pods," Veltar said, his voice shaking. "But they were not meant to explode. They were meant to deliver humans directly onto our ships." The pods moved impossibly fast. They ignored plasma fire that should have destroyed them. They punched through shields and armor like they were made of paper. Each pod carried one human soldier, Veltar said. Just one. But that was enough. The human who boarded Veltar's ship was named Nam. He was not large or strong-looking. He carried simple weapons, a metal blade, a projectile weapon, some small explosives. Against Kethmori soldiers with energy shields and plasma rifles, he should have died quickly. "He killed 12 of us in the first corridor," Veltar whispered. "Not with superior weapons, with speed, with brutality, with complete willingness to die if it meant killing us first." Nam fought like every battle was his last battle. He used the ship's own systems against the crew. He turned off gravity in some sections and increased it in others. He poisoned the air supply. He overloaded power systems to create explosions. He talked while he fought, Veltar said. Calm. Polite. He apologized for the inconvenience as he killed us. Other human boarders were doing the same thing throughout the fleet. Soldiers named Ray and Tay and Sol moved through alien ships like death itself. They used captured weapons better than the aliens who designed them. They turned ship corridors into death traps. But the worst part was what they did with our own people, Veltar said, his 3 arms hugging his chest tighter. The humans did not just kill alien soldiers. They captured them, quickly and efficiently. Within minutes of boarding, they had taken control of key systems and were using alien crew members as human shields and sources of information. Nam stood behind Captain Yelthar and made him send surrender signals to other ships, Veltar said. Not through torture or threats. Through logic. "Your crew is dead," Nam had said to Captain Yelthar. "Your ship is mine. You can help me take the other ships peacefully, or you can watch me kill everyone slowly. Choose." Captain Yelthar, a veteran of 30 battles, had chosen to cooperate rather than watch his crew die for nothing. One human took control of a ship with 400 crew members, Veltar said. One human made them all surrender. Because he was right. Fighting him would only make the dying slower. The battle ended when the human named Maya broadcast a message to all remaining alien ships. "We have captured 47 of your vessels," she said. "Your own crews are flying them now under our direction. They will help us capture the rest of you, or we will ram their ships into yours. You have 60 seconds to decide." Some ships tried to run, Veltar said. The captured alien vessels chased them down and disabled them. Crews who had fought the humans minutes before were now helping them win. Admiral Kexavor's final message was desperate. "What are you?" he had asked. "What kind of species fights like this?" Maya's answer was simple. "The kind that survives," she said. The third battle ended with 1,200 alien ships captured or destroyed. The humans lost 36 vessels, but they gained technologies from 7 different species. "We thought it was over," Veltar said. We thought no sane species would continue this war, but the Alliance was not ready to give up. They were going to use the planet killers. Veltar looked up at the council with broken eyes. The humans knew this too. They were already preparing for the next phase. They were turning their entire solar system into a weapon. That is when we learned that everything we had seen so far was just humans being careful. They had not wanted to show their real strength. Veltar's voice became barely audible. We were about to see what humans do when they stop holding back. Veltar's hands had stopped shaking. Now they just lay still in his lap like dead things. His voice was so quiet that the council had to lean forward to hear him. The High Command was desperate, he said. 3 battles, 3 defeats. The Alliance was falling apart. Species were leaving the war. Some were even making secret peace deals with the humans. The Galactic Council chamber was silent except for Veltar's whispered words, so they decided to use the World Eaters. World Eaters were weapons that no civilized species ever used. Massive devices that could consume entire planets, turning everything into more weapons. They were kept in secret storage, hidden away for emergencies that should never come. The Kethmori High Command convinced themselves it was the only way, Veltar said. The humans were too dangerous to be allowed to live. Their entire species had to be destroyed. The Alliance gathered its largest fleet ever, 2,000 ships, 10 World Eater devices, representatives from 15 different species, all united in their fear of humanity. We thought numbers would be enough, Veltar whispered. How could one star system fight the entire galaxy? But the humans were not planning to fight in their own system anymore. They came to us, Veltar said. While we were gathering our fleet at Kepler Station, they attacked. The human fleet that appeared was massive. Thousands of ships, all different, all wrong. Ships built from asteroids. Ships grown from organic material. Ships that seemed to be made of pure energy. We could not count them, Veltar said. Every time we thought we had them all identified, more appeared. Ships that looked like they were built by different species. Ships using technologies we had never seen. The human commander introduced herself as Ray. Her ship was the size of a small moon, covered in weapons that defied physics. Thank you for gathering in one place, Ray said over the communication channels. This will make things much easier. Admiral Mordak, the Alliance commander, tried to sound confident. You are outnumbered, he said. Our fleet has enough firepower to destroy 100 star systems. Surrender now and we will make your deaths quick, Ray laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. Outnumbered, she said. Look closer. That was when the Alliance fleet realized the truth. Half the ships they thought were on their side were not. The humans had been building copies of alien vessels, perfect down to the smallest detail. They had been hiding among the Alliance fleet for weeks. Our own ships turned on us, Veltar said. Ships we thought we knew opened fire. Captains we had served with for years revealed themselves to be humans in perfect alien disguises. The battle began with half the Alliance fleet already destroyed by their own allies. But that was just the beginning. The humans had learned something new, Veltar said, something that changed everything. During the previous battles, human scientists had studied captured alien technologies. But they had done more than just copy them. They had figured out the basic principles that made all galactic technology work. They called it the universal theory, Veltar whispered. The mathematical rules that govern all energy, all matter, all life in the galaxy. Armed with this knowledge, humans had built weapons that should not exist. Energy fields that could make matter disappear. Gravity controllers that could crush ships like insects. Time dilation devices that made human ships move faster than physics allowed. A human named Tai spoke to us as our ships died, Veltar said. He explained what they were doing to us. Every species in the galaxy discovered technology slowly, Tai had said. Over millions of years, step by step. We did it in 2 years, all of it. Everything you know and things you never dreamed of. The Alliance fleet tried to fight back, but their weapons could not hit targets that were moving through time differently. Their shields could not stop attacks that came from directions that did not exist. But the worst weapon was not technological, Veltar said. It was psychological. The humans had studied every species in the Alliance. They knew what each one feared most. They knew how each one thought. They knew exactly what to do to break their spirits. A human named Saul broadcast messages designed specifically for each species, Veltar said. For the Kethmori, he showed images of our children being raised by humans as pets. For the Zeltari, He played sounds that triggered their deepest biological fears. For the Mordek, he created reality distortions that made them doubt their own existence. The messages were not threats. They were promises. "This is your future if you continue fighting," Sul had said. "Not death. Something much worse. We will take everything that makes you who you are. We will use it. We will improve it. And we will use the improved version against other species who threaten us." Some ships surrendered immediately, Veltar said. Their crews could not face the future the humans promised. Admiral Mordak tried to restore order to his fleet, but it was too late. The alliance was breaking apart. Ships were fleeing in every direction. Some were turning on each other in panic. "Use the World Eaters," Admiral Mordak ordered. "Destroy everything. The humans, the fleeing ships, this entire star system. Nothing must survive." The World Eater devices activated. Massive machines designed to consume matter and convert it into weapons. They began eating asteroids, small moons, anything they could reach. "For a moment we thought we might win," Veltar said. The World Eaters were growing rapidly. Soon they would be large enough to consume human ships, then planets, then entire star systems. But the humans were not afraid. "They fed the World Eaters," Veltar whispered. Instead of running from the consuming machines, human ships began pushing asteroids and debris toward them. They guided the World Eaters to dead planets and moons, helping them grow faster. "We thought they had gone insane," Veltar said. "Why help the weapons meant to destroy them?" The answer came when the World Eaters reached critical mass, the point where they could no longer be controlled. "The humans took control of them," Veltar said. "All 10 World Eaters. They turned them against the Alliance fleet. A human named Maya appeared on all communication channels as the World Eaters began consuming Alliance ships. "Did you really think we would not study your ultimate weapons?" she asked. "Did you really think we would not find a way to turn them against you?" "Thank you for bringing them to us," Maya continued. "We will put them to good use." The battle ended with the World Eaters consuming what remained of the Alliance fleet. 2,000 ships became raw material for human weapons. 15 species watched their greatest military forces disappear into machines they had built themselves. "Only a few hundred of us escaped," Veltar said. "We carried word back to our homeworlds. The humans had not just defeated us. They had taken our most powerful weapons and made them their own. But that was not the end," Veltar whispered. "That was when the humans began their real war. They stopped defending their system and started hunting us." Veltar looked up at the council with eyes that had seen too much. "They followed us home, all of us, every species that had attacked them, and they brought the World Eaters with them." Veltar's voice was barely a whisper now. The council members had stopped moving. They sat frozen, afraid to make any sound that might interrupt his testimony. "The humans came to our worlds not as invaders," he said. "They came as teachers. They wanted to show the galaxy what happens when you threaten them. After destroying the Alliance fleet, the humans had captured the navigation data from every ship. They knew the location of every homeworld, every military base, every secret facility belonging to the species that had attacked them. They did not come all at once," Veltar said. "They came slowly, carefully, giving each world time to understand what was happening. The first world they visited was Kethmore Prime, the home planet of Veltar's people. The human fleet that arrived was small, only 50 ships. They positioned themselves in orbit and waited. They did not attack immediately," Veltar said. "A human named Saul spoke to our planetary government. He was polite. He was reasonable. He made an offer. The offer was simple. The Kethmori could surrender unconditionally, accept human occupation, and learn to live under human rules. In return, their people would be allowed to survive." Governor Yelkan refused, Veltar said. He said that Kethmori had fought for 10,000 years and would never surrender to a primitive species. Sol's response was immediate. "Very well," he said. "We will demonstrate why that is a poor decision." The demonstration began with the orbital defense platforms. Kethmore Prime was protected by energy shields that could stop any attack. The humans fired a single beam at the main generator. The entire planetary defense grid shut down, Veltar whispered. "One shot. All our protection gone." "That is impossible," Governor Yelkan had said. "Our shields are powered by the planet's core. Nothing can disrupt that much energy." "Nothing you understand," Sol replied. But we have had 2 years to study your technology. We know it better than you do now. The second demonstration was the communication networks. Every computer on Kethmore Prime began displaying the same message in perfect Kethmori script. "We are in your systems," the message read. "We control your power grids, your transportation, your food distribution, your medical facilities. We could turn them all off with a single command. But we prefer cooperation to destruction." "How?" Governor Yelkan demanded. "How did you penetrate systems that have no connection to space?" A human named Bin appeared on every screen on the planet. "We have been in your systems for months," he said. "Every piece of technology you captured from us carried hidden programs. Every time you studied our ships, you downloaded our viruses into your computers. Every time you communicated with us, you opened doors you did not know existed." The third demonstration was biological. A strange sickness began spreading through the capital city. Not deadly, but frightening. People's skin changed color. They spoke in languages they had never learned. They remembered things that had never happened to them. "It will wear off in a few hours," a human doctor named Hana explained over the communication networks. "This is just to show you that we understand your biology as well as your technology. We could make it permanent," she added. "We could change your entire species if we wanted to, but we prefer cooperation to genocide." Governor Yelkan finally understood. The humans were not trying to conquer Kethmore Prime. They were showing that they already had conquered it. They had simply chosen not to use their power yet. "We surrender," he said. "Too late," Sol replied. The fourth demonstration began with the planet's 3 moons. Each moon suddenly grew brighter, hot enough to be seen in daylight. "We have installed fusion reactors in your moons," Sol explained. "If we activate them fully, your moons will become stars. The radiation will sterilize your planet in minutes." "But we will not do that," Sol continued. "Instead, we will give you a choice. You can evacuate your planet voluntarily, or we can evacuate it for you. You have 24 hours to decide." "Where would we go?" Governor Yelkan asked. "To reservations," Sol said. "Carefully selected worlds where you can live safely under human supervision. You will be fed, housed, and cared for. Your culture will be preserved. Your children will be educated. But you will never again be allowed to develop weapons or space travel. And if we refuse, then you will learn why the other species call us the death of worlds." Some Kethmori chose to evacuate. Others chose to fight. The humans dealt with both groups efficiently. Those who left peacefully were taken to garden worlds, Veltar said. Beautiful places where they could live comfortable lives. Prisoners, but comfortable prisoners. Those who fought were simply erased. Veltar had been on a research station orbiting the 4th moon when the resistance began. He watched through telescopes as human ships surrounded pockets of Kethmori military forces. "They did not use weapons," Veltar said. "They used the World Eaters." The consuming machines devoured military bases, weapons factories, and anyone who refused to surrender. They left cities and civilians untouched, but every trace of Kethmori military power vanished. In 3 days, a civilization that had existed for 10,000 years was gone. Veltar whispered. "Not destroyed, managed, controlled, made harmless." The same process was repeated on every world that had joined the Alliance. The humans came with overwhelming force, impossible technology, and perfect knowledge of their enemies. Some species surrendered immediately when they saw what happened to us, Veltar said. Others tried to fight. It made no difference. The humans had become something beyond galactic comprehension. They had absorbed the knowledge and technology of dozens of species and improved all of it. They had weapons that rewrote the laws of physics. They had ships that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. But the worst part was not their power, Veltar said. The worst part was their patience. The humans did not rule through fear or violence. They ruled through complete understanding. They knew every species better than those species knew themselves. They could predict behavior, prevent rebellions, and solve problems before they began. "They are not cruel," Veltar said. "They feed us well. They keep us healthy. They let us practice our religions and maintain our cultures. But we are no longer free. And they are still growing stronger." Veltar looked directly at each council member. "Do you understand what I am telling you?" he asked. "The humans have not stopped learning. Every day they become more advanced. Every month they discover new technologies. Every year they grow more powerful. They are patient now because they can afford to be patient. They control 15 star systems completely. They have populations of 7 different species working for them, building new things, discovering new sciences. In 50 years, they will be like gods compared to the rest of the galaxy. In 100 years, they will be beyond our ability to even understand. And they remember everything, Veltar whispered. They remember every species that attacked them. They remember every world that refused to help them. They remember every government that voted to support the war against them. Veltar stood up slowly, his 3 arms shaking with exhaustion. That is why I came here, he said. To warn you, the humans are coming for everyone who opposed them. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday. And when they come, resistance will be impossible. They will not destroy you, Veltar said as he moved toward the exit. That would be wasteful. They will simply make you irrelevant. He paused at the door and looked back one final time. The human war front was hell, he said. But hell ended. This is something worse. This is forever. Veltar left the council chamber. 3 days later, he was found dead in his quarters. The official cause was organ failure brought on by stress. His final words, recorded by the medical staff, were, "They know I testified. They know everything, but they do not care anymore. We are no longer dangerous enough to worry about." The Galactic Council voted to classify Veltar's testimony as a state secret. No copies were to be made. No discussion was to be allowed. 6 months later, human ships appeared in orbit around the Council's homeworld. The humans made no demands. They simply waited. They are still waiting.